This video is sponsored by Surfshark, more on them later. The Bombardier Regina is Sweden's most popular high-speed train with more than 100 units being built for operators all over the country. But what if I told you that this train is also in China and they have even more of them than Sweden? This is China's CRH-1 high-speed train, based on exactly the same design as the Swedish Reginas, but for use on China's vast high-speed railway network. So join me today for my first ever ride on Chinese high-speed rail as we check out just how similar these trains are to the Swedish ones, riding from Shanghai over to Nanjing.
My name is Simon, and behind me we have China's supercharged high-speed train from Sweden.
We start our journey from the simply named Shanghai railway station in, well, Shanghai, China's largest city, which is home to more than 20 million people. Traveling by train in China is a little different to what I'm used to in Europe. First of all, you can't even access the station building without your ID being linked to a valid ticket. So if you haven't booked ahead online in advance, you'll need to find a special entrance for the ticket office, or in case of Shanghai, it's actually in a whole different building. Anyway, let's get this journey started by heading into the station. First, there is a document check, followed by an airport-style security check. These, in my experience, were quick and efficient, but there could be a short wait at peak times. The current day Shanghai Station opened in 1987 as the city's new main station, replacing the former historic Shanghai North Railway Station. As you might have guessed by a building from the 80s, it's not too inspiring. Mostly consisting just of this crowded corridor with a few retail and food outlets. The station's layout is inspired by that of an airport in the sense that every train departs from a gate area, in our case that will be number 9. Inside the gate area is where you'll find most of the station's seating, as well as a few vending machines and the toilets. This gate setup also means you can't go to the platforms before the train starts boarding, but it was possible to see a little bit of train traffic from the windows in the gate area. For instance, my gate was placed next to the tracks of Shanghai's Metro Lines 3 and 4. And in another gate area, I caught a glimpse of this CRH-2C high-speed train, which is an older high-speed train design based on Japan's E2 Shinkansen. On my trip to China, I also tried some of their own fully domestically produced and developed high-speed trains, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to not miss those videos. And consider joining the membership program not only to support the channel, but also get early access to all future videos. Right, back to the crowded area of my gate. Around 20 minutes before departure, our train is ready for boarding. There is another ticket check here, or I should say ID check, as that is directly linked to your ticket and is the only thing you need to travel on the Chinese high-speed railway network. I'm not a big fan of this system. As you know, I would much prefer just to be able to roam the platforms at my own leisure. But the whole Chinese high-speed railway network has pretty much been built and designed around this airport-style level of control, so that's unfortunately how it is. As our train starts its journey here in Shanghai, it is already waiting on platform number 7. This is the CRH-1B, part of the Bombardier Regina family and designed in partnership with Chinese Sifang in Västerås, Sweden. A total of 148 units were built in partnership at the factory in Qingdao, China, and the trains are capable of 250 km per hour. They come in a few different variations, with ours being the larger 16-carriage version. That's right, 16 carriages, almost 4 times longer than the longest version in Sweden. Right, let's head on board and check out what these trains look like on the inside, because the front and back design of them definitely looks very similar. My first impressions are there's definitely a few similarities even here by the doors, but we'll take a closer look at everything after departure. By the way, I'm traveling in first class today, which on Chinese high-speed trains generally comes in this 2+2 layout. We depart Shanghai Station bang on time at 09:30. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN Virtual Private Network.
Honestly, Surfshark couldn't be a better sponsor for this video as I'm traveling in China, and as some of you might know, China has very strict internet restrictions. A lot of Western media and websites are blocked on Chinese internet, including WhatsApp and, more crucially for my job, YouTube. With Surfshark's VPN, I can connect to a server in a different part of the world and use the internet just like I would back home. And the best part of it, it only takes a few clicks to connect, and it's available on multiple devices including my Android phone as well as on my laptop. But that's not the only reason why I use Surfshark. When I'm traveling, I'm constantly connected to unsecure public Wi-Fi, like at my hotel, in a cafe doing some work, or on the trains themselves. Turning on Surfshark encrypts my data, which makes it much harder for anyone on the same network to intercept sensitive information like my passwords or credit card details. A VPN really is an essential tool for frequent travelers these days, and Surfshark is super easy to use, and best of all, it's also affordable, starting from less than €2 a month. Head over to surfshark.com/Simon Andersen and use code Simon Andersen at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to China.
My first impressions are that these trains are pretty quiet, and they don't really have the same distinctive sound from the traction motors as the trains in Sweden do. Our 16-carriage train slowly snakes its way out of the impressive train shed, and eventually joins the railway line heading west out of the city. Which seems like a good opportunity for us to take a closer look at the route map for today's journey. We are catching train D956. From Shanghai, we will be covering a distance of 312 kilometers in 1 hour and 51 minutes, using the high-speed line to Nanjing South, which is as far as I'll be traveling. This gives the train an average speed of 167 kilometers per hour. Afterwards, the train continues onwards for another over 1000 kilometers all the way over to Chongqing, where it will terminate. On our way out of the city, we pass by many of these complex interchanges between various train lines, spotting one of these CRH3 high-speed trains, which is the Chinese version of the Siemens Velaro. It is really impressive seeing the scale of all this high-speed rail infrastructure, most of which didn't even exist 20 years ago. We quickly reach the train's maximum speed of 250 km per hour, speeding towards our first station stop. So let's take a closer look at the seats here in first class. They are equipped with a small seat pocket containing a sick bag. Below this you'll find the seat staple. This folds up like this and was pretty sturdy. Legroom is pretty good, and there's also a deployable footrest, although I was struggling a bit to deploy it. The seat features a winged headrest which offers a good amount of padding. And the good amount of padding continues throughout the rest of the seat, making for a really comfortable seat overall. I quite like it. For enhanced comfort, you can recline the seat using the button in the armrest. And if you're wondering where the power outlet is, just like many other Scandinavian trains, you'll find it by looking up.
I mean, it's really cool how similar these trains are to the ones you find in Sweden and the Øresundstog in Denmark. Just like, take a look at this.
Much of the design is nearly identical, from the grills on the window frame to the small hooks for the window blind. I mean, it really does feel like sitting on some other version of the Regina or Øresundstog. We are now coming up on our first intermediate stop. This is Suzhou, a city home to over 10 million people right next to Shanghai. We stop here for 2 minutes to exchange passengers, and then we accelerate away again, quickly getting back up towards 250 km per hour. We are traveling along the original Shanghai to Nanjing high-speed railway line, and yes, I do have to make that distinction because there are multiple high-speed lines between the cities nowadays. The line we are traveling on mostly follows the alignment of the conventional Shanghai to Nanjing railway, running elevated right next to it for most of the way. While the line has a top service speed of 300 km per hour, we are limited to 250 by the capabilities of our Regina train. We are now coming into our second stop, Changzhou. and by the standard of our 2 previous station stops, this is one of the smaller stations along the line, only serving a town of just 5 million people. Once again, our stop here is just a brief 2 minutes and we quickly get going again, now heading non-stop to Nanjing. 2 classes of travel are offered on board, with first class being the highest, coming in a 2+2 layout with good legroom and recline. However, I should mention on China's more prestigious high-speed trains they also offer premium first class and business class, which offers significantly better levels of comfort, and I will have videos coming out on in the future. As we head down to second class, you'll notice the rather crowded 2+3 seating layout. The Regina is one of the high-speed trains with the highest seating capacity in all of China, and this combined with a few other issues with the design of the train has earned them the nickname Large Metro. Throughout the train you'll also find a few handy features such as drinking water dispensers, and there's also a cafe car. Although if you don't want to walk through half of the train to get to it, the trolley will also eventually come by your seat. Throughout the train you'll also find a few toilets. These are really not special at all, they feature a mostly white interior, but everything was functional, including the water. There was plenty of soap left, plenty of paper towels, and the flush was working without issue. So this will get a thumbs up from me. By Chinese standards, the Regina really is just a big commuter train that happens to go very fast. They are a bit basic, but again they are really only used to move a lot of people on lower class high-speed services. The main reason I even chose to ride it was just because I wanted to see how similar they are to the trains back home in Scandinavia, and I think that would make for an interesting video. And so far, it's been really fun. We are now on the approach into Nanjing South Station, so let me tell you about how much I paid for this ticket. I booked directly using the China Railway app, which does require a little bit of time to set up, but after that it works great. Fares in China are generally fixed based on class of train and distance traveled, and there's no discount for booking in advance. I paid 184 yen for this trip, which I thought was pretty good value. Our train arrives into Nanjing South Station a couple of minutes behind schedule at 11:23, after what's been an interesting ride on the Chinese high-speed railway network. Let me know what you thought of the Regina and Chinese high-speed rail in general in the comments down below. I would love to know your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for joining me in this video today. If you liked it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, as I try to upload a new video every Sunday. And consider joining my membership program if you want early access to all videos as well as exclusive travel updates. To continue your journey, why not watch my video on the Swedish Regina train? And thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Make sure to head over to surfshark.com/Simon Andersen and use my code Simon Andersen to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN.